Hi guys, I'm Lee at Iridium. Welcome to the show. So, my last album review, well, I think it's going to be my last album review unless anything pops up I didn't know about. And this one is again a Frontiers release. And this is Durbin, The Beast Awakens. So, I don't know the full story about James Durbin. I know he was in American Idol, one of them fucking stupid TV shows. But anyway, I don't know if he won or he came second. I don't know. But he basically, when you, in America, when you have your American Idol, and I've seen this a few times, you sometimes get rock singers, especially in some European countries as well. In England, we all get shit. We get all the pop shit. But you occasionally get great vocalists out in America. Daltrey being one of them. Who, I don't know how far he got, but he done quite well and has done well for himself after. James Durbin is a great vocalist, man. And I haven't heard any of his other stuff that he did after American Idol. This is the first thing I've heard of him. I'm not sure if he was fully into the heavy rock, metal sort of stuff, but that's what this album is. Man, this is fucking great. So this album as well is on Frontiers, like I said, and he signed a multi-album deal with Frontiers. And I hope he stays to this style because this is fucking great. This album is absolutely fantastic and will without a doubt make it into my top albums of the year. So what do you get on this album? You get Dio sort of era Black Sabbath throughout this album. He sings about Vikings, demons and fucking swords. What more do you want? You know what I mean? Absolutely fantastic. The production, and I haven't looked into who actually done the production, so I apologise for that, but it's very stripped down and it's cool because this is what I was saying about the Todd the Tour album as well. That's what they wanted. They wanted a stripped down sound. They didn't want too many layers on the guitars, and that's what you get. You really hear the guitar in your headphones on this. It's not too many layers. The production is really cool, and there's a weird sort of tone to the guitar as well, which is cool. It's different, but it's great. So you've got James Durbin on the vocals and the guitar, Barry Sparks on bass, and Mike Vandy on the drums. I don't know how many of the guitar, how much of the guitar James Durbin plays on, but I know he's got I haven't got it written down, but I looked at the guests on this album, and the list is fucking that long. So I'm not sure who's playing what part of each song, if you know what I mean. What you get on here though is different styles throughout the album, even though it mainly sticks to the classic rock sort of stuff, but there's different vibes, sort of different, you know, it sticks to the classic rock, but it gives you different types of classic rock. I can't explain it, but I will do, try as best I can. And the best thing about this album is, I'm not being funny, this is one of the catchiest albums I've ever heard. It's one of the choruses are just outstandingly catchy, and I think that's what a lot of bands and musicians miss these days. I've noticed when I'm doing reviews, I'm pointing out a lot that the verses and the pre-choruses and the bridges are a lot of my favourite parts of the song. And where the chorus is really meant to like grab you, I think there's a lack of that these days. I really do. But on this album, literally every chorus is one of the most catchiest things I've ever heard. It's amazing how he's done it. Even if some of the song ain't my favourite, the chorus is always catchy. And I think a lot of that comes from James Durbin's voice alone, because he reaches these ridiculous heights where he actually makes the chorus catchy with the instrument of his voice, which is quite an amazing feat, really. So I love this album. It's really fun because obviously he's not taking himself too seriously with the Vikings, demons and swords. You know what I mean? And I did see a video for the Prince of Metal, which is like dressed up in this like some of the worst Viking gear you can imagine, but it's him having fun. He's got a sense of humour, which is good, and it comes all the way through this album. It's absolutely great. So we start off with that song, The Prince of Metal. So this was the second single, I believe. This is full on power metal, and like I said, the chorus is very, very catchy. I mean, the lyrics in this: raise your horns, bang your heads, the Prince of Metal. You can't get fucking better than that, can you? Next up is an outstanding track and one of the highlights for me on the album. That's Kings Before You.
High atop the mountain, over all there is to see. The dark side of a
This was the first single that I reacted to, and I was so impressed with this. This is full on metal, this full on Dio metal, this one. Brilliant song, amazing chorus yet again, like it's so catchy. But the verses in this one are actually the winner because they're so heavy, and an outstanding vocal performance from Durbin, and you've got Chris Jericho coming in with the second set of verses on this, and he's got an amazing voice on this song. I haven't heard any of his stuff outside of this, but man, he really brings some power to this. He really brings his A game on this. Absolutely fantastic, Kings Before You. Next up, Into the Flames. Another very cool vibe. I've got this as one of my top songs. And almost Don't Fear the Reaper sort of style to this song. And you know exactly what I mean, but obviously a bit heavier. It's got like more electric guitars in it, but it's got a Don't Fear the Reaper vibe. I was trying it was doing my head in listening to this, thinking this sounds like something. Of course, it's not a rip-off. It's just, you can hear it, but without ever being too copying. It's just got that vibe running through it. Another huge chorus like all this album's got. Next up, and this is another great song, The Sacred Mountain. Got like a gallop in this, you know, like that old classic gallop that you used to get with, you know, Dio and stuff. Fantasy lyrics yet again, epic feel, man. I love this song. Classic metal, true 80s, but with so much melody. Next up, The Beast Awakens. This one, so I like this song. Very doomy, sort of almost Candlemass doomy. We're talking on this, but like Durbin. Does anyone want to buy a bald cat? He doesn't get in your way. He isn't noisy. He loves you. Honestly, he's the best ever. Contact me on Facebook if you're interested. All right, come out the way then. Come on, you best loving. Where was I? Yeah, such a catchy chorus again. Great solo on this. The Beast Awakens. Brilliant song. Okay, next up, Evil Eye. Wasn't that a Dio song? Evil Eyes, wasn't it? That was Evil Eyes. So this is the third single. More heavy riffing, Sabbath-esque sort of riffing on this. We're talking sort of more Aussie Sabbath on this one. Cool guitar melodies running through the verses. I don't even have to mention the chorus again because every one of these choruses are fantastic. Another highlight of the album. Next up, probably one of my least favourite songs on the album, and that's Necromancer. This is more sort of speed metal, but still keep having that sort of catchiness in it. But definitely, probably one of my least favourites on the album. Don't let that put you off. It's still a good song. Next up, getting back on track now. Didn't take long, you know, just one weaker sort of song. And then Riders on the Wind. This is great. So this is actually almost sounds like it's nicked the bass line out of Heaven and Hell, but very tastefully. You know, it's like a tribute almost. Like, this is what I would be like if I was in a band now. It would be classic metal, and I'd like to shove bits in there just as a tribute, if you like, little bits as a tribute to Dio, because why not? And it has got that sort of bass line running through it. It's great. So Durbin's vocals are outstanding in this one. This is one of my favourite songs. I absolutely love it. Riders on the Wind. Next is Calling Out for Midnight. This has got like a heavy rock and roll sort of feel to this, straight out of the 70s almost. But yeah, again, the chorus lifts it. It's quite cool. Sort of not one of my favourite ones. You know, this is probably at the low end of my favourites again. You know, like I said, all the album's good. The whole album's good, but you got to have a couple that are not quite up there as the rest. Next up, Battle Cry. What an amazing song. Very good shift in pace. Very cool song. Acoustic guitars mixed with electric as well in this. So a different vibe yet again. Nice hearing Durbin's voice actually doing some different stuff, you know, changing his register. He can, like I said before, he can reach some amazing heights, but he's got a good tone on the lower level as well. Absolutely great. Battle Cry is an amazing song. Next up, By the Horns. So this has a real new wave of British heavy metal feel to it. Quite a fun song. It's about killing a demon. What more do you want? I think it is anyway. It's about grabbing a demon by the horns. I mean, man, what the fuck? Next up, the last song on the album, Rise to Valhalla. So this is probably about 3 songs that are just a little bit below the rest of the album, and this is another one for me. This is Rise to Valhalla. Very fast, speed metal, although my favourite part of it is about the 4.5 minute mark. It goes to an acoustic part, making it the song overall more epic at that point. Then it goes a little bit heavier again, then plays out to a lovely little acoustic guitar again. Man, this is highly recommended as well. This is a great album, and I really hope that James Durbin carries on with this style. I suppose it depends how successful it's going to be. You know what I mean? If this doesn't sell anything, which you never know with the state of the music industry these days, I really hope it does. I hope it's a success for him, and his next couple of... I just love him. I love this cat. I love him so much. Right, okay. Yeah, I just hope that he, the rest of his albums with Frontiers along the same lines, because man, what a great album. I didn't know what to expect. I love the singles, and I thought, you know, this is a good... I've got a good feeling about it, but you never know. Man, he didn't disappoint. James Durbin, thumbs up, mate. Well done. So, thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to subscribe, red button, bottom right-hand corner. See you next time.